Okay, so we are inequalities in context. So context means like the situation, and we're going to write an inequality to represent all these words. It's a lot of words, I know. So we're going to break down the words. We're going to highlight the words. If you're doing this on paper, maybe write down the keywords, okay? Or you can always snip it, copy and paste this, and put it into a Jamboard and underline there. So here we go. This is going to require reading and rereading and noticing and wondering to see which option it makes sense for this situation. So a rental car company charges $33.96 per day to rent a car and 9 cents for every mile driven. Layla wants to rent a car knowing that she plans to drive 50 miles and she has at most $530 to spend. So which inequality can be used to determine D, the maximum number of days Layla can afford to rent for while staying within her budget? Okay, so let's underline the key information here. The key information. The rental car company charges $33.96 per day. Okay. Every day she rents the car, she pays that amount. And then she has to pay to actually drive it. So every mile she drives, she goes 0.09 or 9 cents for every mile. She plans to drive 50 miles. She has at most to spend $530. So I'm going to underline words here. At most, $530. So at most helps us determine an inequality. It's a little confusing because most sounds like a big word, so we would think that 530 would be big, but actually we are going to go all the way up to 530, but stop there. We cannot have it be any bigger than 530, okay? So 530 has to be the most it could be. So we have to have the amount she spends has to be less than 530. It cannot go above 530. No, it has to be this down here. It has to be less than 530. Okay. All right, so we know that. Oh, and you know what I'm already noticing is that in all of these options here, and so this is why it's important to notice things about the options, 530 comes first. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to reverse my inequality, but I'm still going to make sure that the big sign, the big side, the open side of this inequality still fits that is facing the 530. So let's look at the options here and think about which one of these has the big side facing 530. This one does, so this is an option. This could be it. This one does not. 530 is less here, so we know this isn't it. So let's cross that out. And same with this. Okay, so we have already narrowed it down. We got a 50-50 chance of getting it right. So I'm going to rewrite my equation over here. Rewrite my inequality. So I'm going to say 530 has to be the biggest. The amount we spend has to be less than 530. Okay. Now, let's see. Where does this 4.5? Well, let's look at this. I'm noticing things in my equation. And so I'm noticing that the 33 inequality, it's not equation, it's not equal. So 33, I'm noticing this. Okay, so that is the amount per day. Okay. And we have a variable here. What's this variable equal? D. What does D represent? D represents D, determine D. D is the maximum number of days. Okay, so that's days. Days is going to be, multiplied by the 33.96. So that makes sense. And then let's just double check, where did this 4.5 come from? I have a feeling if I do 50 times 9 cents, it will be, that equals 4.5. So that is the cost for the gas per mile, or the mileage. And this is the amount per days. So there we go.